I'm sitting here in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and just thinking on how I never had any plan of what I was gonna do after high school, and I turned 20 last month, and I've kind of seen everybody around me and everyone that I met here in this neighborhood, and like they're like how they're the closest people to me, and I'm seeing them go off to college and having something going for themselves while I'm still stuck at home, not really doing anything for myself. But I never really had a plan. I always just like had an answer so people would I just had an answer for people. Like anytime, oh, like, oh, what are you gonna be after this? What are you gonna do? I'm like, oh, I go to a trade school. Oh, I'm gonna try to be an engineer. But I've never like dreamt of being anything. I've never dreamt of working, you know. And I feel like I'm getting kind of anxious because I don't really have anything to show for the 20 years I've been, around, other than the people I have around me. I'm not really good at anything, but if I were to say that I'm good at one thing, it's surrounding myself with good people, especially the people I met here in this little neighborhood, you know. And like, not to cope or anything, but if that, I'm okay with that being the best thing that I got going for me, just picking the best people to be around. But what about like the future, How am I, like, what am I doing? I'm just kind of scared that I'm going to get too comfortable staying here. Like, once I get too comfortable, I won't be able to leave, you know? I'll have, like, I won't want anything more from my life until it's, like, too late, it feels like. I have, like, all these aspirations to, like, travel and see the world, and just, I want my life to be, like, just all these great experiences, but I haven't even left the country, like, other than Mexico, to like visit family, like, for myself. I'm stuck at home, and when I'm not working, it's not like I'm doing shit to, you know make my life a story worth telling. And I don't want it to be that way anymore, and I feel like maybe me carrying this camera around will change that. Maybe it'll make me like get up and want to do shit, instead of laying in my bed doom scrolling or just sleeping all day, And my mom will always, like, she was always on me about, like, going to do something, like, oh, like, go to the trade school, and always be like, man, she's like on me about this, but she was just like, she was always right, and I should have been doing something. Like, I didn't try in school, and I only logged in whenever I had to, which is such a crazy thing to do. I was too busy trying to be funny for all my friends, and I think that's the only regret I have so far in my life. Just, why didn't you try harder? Why didn't you do more? And I don't want to have that thought anymore. I want to just go out there and try my hardest, even whenever I don't have to, And like, hardworking wouldn't be a character trait that I would give myself, because if you're hardworking all the time. I'm only hardworking whenever I have to. And that's not how things should be. I should always be wanting the best of myself, but I'm lazy and I procrastinate, and that's just gonna be the death of me. Just procrastinating all the time. I'm never gonna get anything done, anything that I want to do done. Like, I have all these aspirations, right, of traveling, seeing all this cool shit, having kids, having a family. But how am I gonna do any of that if I can not even get out of bed unless I have to go to work, or my mom asked me to go do this fucking chore or something, And it's a shame that I really have nothing to to show for how old I mean, I've been here 2 decades, and set my friends and family and all the good people I have surrounding me to the side. I really don't have anything, you know. And you think, oh, you have all these good people around you doing all these things, like chasing something. You feel like you'd become your friends, you know. And I just haven't, you know. And I think I'm trying out to like this new job right now, like with like spray foam installation, and because the past 2 years I've been cart pushing for Walmart, and that's it. I've just been cart pushing, thinking, man, I should do more, but I've never done anything more up to this point. And I feel like if I do get this new job, like the pay's better and everything, but I feel like it's just a temporary solution of me wanting to do more. I feel like I'll fall in the same cycle of me just being comfortable, and then I'll just be stuck here. I just won't do anything like I usually do, and that's what I'm trying to break out of. You know, I feel like I'm just tied down to. I wanted to say this town, but it's not. I feel like I'm just holding myself back, and I feel like I'm way more okay with being comfy than making the most out of myself, you know? And I don't want to be that way anymore. I feel like I've just been saying the same things over and over again. But it's just I've always been that way. You know, I've just been lazy. You know, and it's just a shame. Really. And I mean, it's just back to talking about how my friends are doing so much for themselves, you know. Like everyone that I've met here is off in college, and they're chasing degrees and doing the things to set them up for what they really want to be for the rest of their lives. And you know, they could like party, do whatever, but they're gonna get their shit done. Like them as people, they're just so hardworking. I look up to them, you know. Like they're so smart and hardworking and everything, and that's how I want to be. You know, I want to be like them. I guess knowing, or maybe not knowing, but just I don't want to be clueless. I don't want my future to be just like this fog, you know, of just like what's gonna happen, you know. And I don't know what to do to change it. You know, and that's kind of scary. But, you know, I'm happy for them. You know, it feels like I'm just always just happy for them instead of doing something to be happy for myself. And hopefully, not even to set a time, but some time from now I can look back at this and be like, yeah, I did change. I did do something. Instead of just like laying down and not doing anything like usual. But I can't even put into words of like what I want to do, you know? I want to do cool shit. That's like the simplest thing I can put it, you know, but I have to set myself up so I can live for the family that I want eventually, you know? And I'm not doing anything. I remember one time I went into my mom's room, like going in to like ask her something, or I just got back home from something, and I was just talking to her, and she's like, well, what are your friends up to, you know? I'm like, you know, they're in college doing their thing. And she's like, man, they're all doing something but you. And at first I was like, why would you say that, you know? Like, why are you dissing on me? But I mean, you're right. She was right. And you know what I did right after she said that? Nothing. I did nothing. I laid in bed all day. um, man. Hopefully, the spray foam installation business is real kind to me. And maybe I can do that for a while, and with that money I could set myself up. You know, I don't care what job I work, as long as I'm making good enough money to be out on my own and to support the other people that I eventually want along with me. Because I've never dreamt of working. You know, I've dreamt of doing what I wanted. You know, having a story to tell. You know, my kids or new people that I meet. You know, I want my life to be rich with experiences. And yeah, just this the thought of a job, of a dream job, just never occurred to me. You know, the only time I ever wanted to be anything was in middle school, and I was shut down immediately. And I don't want to blame. It was my parents' fault. Oh no, it wasn't my parents' fault. I don't want to put blame on them. But I was like, man, whenever I grow up, I want to be a soccer player. I want to be a professional soccer player. And they're like, nah. Nah, bro. But I mean, I was ass, so they were completely in the right, you know. But you could say, oh man, but they're your parents. They should always believe in you, you know. And they always do. They always do support me. And then I'm just looking back on it. They were just supporting me to make a better decision because I was dog shit at soccer. But yeah, that was the only time I ever wanted to be anything. You know, and after that, I just kind of thought of an answer to give people so I could answer the question of, oh, what are you going to do later in life? You know, I can't be like, oh, I'm just going to be traveling, you know? Which, thinking about it, probably just would have been a better answer to be like, I'm going to travel the world. But maybe they would have been like, oh, but like, actually, though, what are you going to do? I'm going to travel the world. That's what I'm going to do. And maybe with that mindset earlier, I could have been traveling by now or something. Who knows, though? I don't want to dwell on the past too much, you know. I don't want to worry about that. I don't even want to worry about the future so much, and that's probably an issue. Like, that's one of the main issues of why I haven't done anything. I just want to be focused on now and what I'm doing, you know? And like, the most I want to think into the future is like the weekend and like what I'm gonna do, or like when I'm gonna hang out with my friends the next time, you know? Yeah, that's probably one of the problems. That's probably one of the issues. I feel like basically to put everything into like two sentences is, I want a job that's stable and I make enough money to go and do shit. But how am I gonna do that with no experience, terrible grades in high school, my procrastination? You know, I gotta get rid of all those things, you know. I can't go back and fucking do better in high school, but I can procrastinate less, and I can get experience somewhere, you know. I feel like I lack urgency. That's the issue. I don't even want to say that's the issue anymore. Like, these are all just like part of the problem. The problem is I'm lazy. I procrastinate. I have no sense of urgency. You know, they're all problems that kept stacking and stacking and stacking on each other, and I never did anything about them until now. And now I'm 20. It's been 2 or 3 years since I've graduated, and all I can say is, oh, I'm a hell of a car pusher. You need a solid car pusher? I can do that for like half a day, you know? Like, I mean, like, I might, like, take a couple breaks here and there and like doom scroll a little bit, but man, I can push a cart real well. I can handle myself a shopping cart. That's all I got to say for the past years that I haven't been in school. Is, man, I can push carts really well. I don't want that to be it. I don't want to be 30 and be like, man, your dad used to be a great cart pusher. You know, I want to tell him about the time I got lost in Europe or some shit, you know. And I don't want my life to be like, I don't want to be money hungry either. Like, I don't want to worry about work and like how much money I'm making. And see, that I just don't want to worry about things, but that's not good, you know. But maybe I can get to a point where I just don't have to worry because I'm so good financially, you know. That's the point I want to get to. That's the next thing on the bucket list. Get paid well. Get paid enough. And stop pushing carts. You know? And saying all that and saying that I have no regrets but not doing good in school. If I could have a conversation with myself, my 8th grade self, right before going into high school, I would probably tell him, I don't know, first of all, try really hard. Try really, 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 really hard. Try your best, actually. You know, I might look super cool and handsome right now, but I'm in the dumps. I'm not doing anything. I have nothing going for myself. I don't want that to be you, you know. And don't try to be a soccer player. You're ass. Mom was right. Mom was right. You're dick. But I tell them, try really hard. Set yourself up. And be nice. Don't be so rude all the time. I think that's all I got.